A local accountant found out this week that whistleblowing for the IRS pays off and pays off big. He raised a red flag about the tax lapse, but when his employer ignored him, he tipped off the agency. Now he and the agency are getting their paydays. And I want to bring in attorney Eric Young. You've been sitting here patiently. You represented the whistleblower and all kinds of things that they do there. First of all, how do you do this?
Well, Joyce, back in 2006, the IRS opened what was now known as the IRS Whistleblower Office. So any individual that comes across tax fraud that is more than $2 million in the aggregate can file a whistleblower claim with the IRS and be eligible for a reward of between 15 and 30% of the total amount that the IRS recovers as a result of the report.
So what kind of payday did we see here?
In this case, our client received $4.5 million.
That's big money.
It's a lot of money, no doubt about it.
So it sounds pretty risky, though. How do you do this without the fear of retaliation?
Sometimes it can be risky. It's imperative that whistleblowers hire an experienced whistleblower attorney. I've been doing this work for about 10 years, and there are a number of things that can be done to protect whistleblowers from retaliation. Sometimes, in fact, in this case, our client tried to do it on his own before he hired us, and he learned the hard way that it's a tough road to hoe. And so we took his case over and got it back on track, and at the end of the day, the rest is history.
So what do you do? Do you go to your bosses first and tell them, hey, I see a problem here? Do you have to do that, or do you just go straight to an attorney?
In this case, Joyce, our client did attempt to have his employer do the right thing. He works, or at the time, he worked for one of the nation's largest financial firms as an in-house CPA, and he went to his superiors when he came across an accounting error and told them that he believed that they should report it to the IRS. They disagreed and told him that if the IRS asked about it, then they would deal with it at that time. So he resigned his employment in protest and filed his claim. I should note there's a common misconception that you need to be an employee to be a whistleblower. In this case, our client just happened to be an employee, but any individual that comes across any type of fraud on the government, not just tax fraud, could be Medicare fraud, Medicaid fraud, defense contracting fraud, should contact an experienced whistleblower attorney and discuss their concerns so that they can, number one, decide whether they want to step forward, and if they do, have it done the right way.
Do you think cases like this will have corporations, companies, individuals to do the right thing more often now, or do you think people will just say, well, you know what, I'll take my chances. If I get caught, I get caught?
We like to think that there would be a deterrent effect, Joyce, and I do think to a certain extent that's true, but human nature tells us that people, when they think they can get away with something, they'll try to do it. And these are great laws, the whistleblower laws, because it does enable people like our client here to step forward and get money back for the taxpayers. And
you don't suggest you try to do it on your own. You said that your client found out the hard way that he shouldn't have gone that route.
I can tell you that our client, who wishes to remain anonymous, so I'm respecting that, and nobody to this day knows who he is, and we're going to keep it that way. He's very happy. He did try to do it on his own for about 2 years, and he came to the conclusion that he needed a lawyer, and like I said, the rest is history.
All right. Attorney Eric Young, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Okay.